Welcome back to Rare U.S. Coins, the channel where history, mystery, and hidden treasures of American currency come alive before your eyes. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the Liberty 1-cent coin from 1975, a small but mighty piece of American heritage that carries more stories, secrets, and unexpected value than you could ever imagine. At first glance, it's just a humble penny, a copper-colored coin most people would overlook or toss into a jar. But what if I told you that some rare examples of the 1975 Liberty 1-cent coin have been valued at an astonishing $779,353? Yes, you heard that right, a single cent, worth nearly $750,000. This is not a myth or an exaggeration, this is the magic of American numismatics, where rarity, condition, and history combine to create true modern treasures. The 1975 Lincoln penny belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Series, first introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This design replaced the wheat cent, and for more than 50 years, it featured the beloved portrait of Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo. The year 1975 stands out in the series for a number of fascinating reasons. It was a time of transition in the U.S. Mint, when the cost of copper was rising rapidly and discussions had already begun about changing the penny's composition. The coins minted in 1975 were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them that rich, classic reddish hue that collectors adore. What makes the 1975 Liberty 1-cent coin particularly desirable is the fact that no special proof pennies with the date, 1975, were officially released by the U.S. Mint. Instead, proof sets from that year were dated 1976 to commemorate the U.S. bicentennial. That means every 1975 penny you find in circulation was meant for everyday use, and over time, finding one in pristine condition has become incredibly rare. Now, imagine discovering a coin that's not only in mint state condition but also struck with exceptional detail, flawless luster, and perfect surfaces. Such coins are known as mint state 67 or higher on the grading scale, and they are the reason some 1975 Lincoln cents have fetched mind-blowing prices at auction. One of these high-grade examples reached a record price of approximately $779,353, a value that shocks even seasoned collectors. What makes it worth so much? It's all about rarity, perfection, and the story behind each coin. The U.S. Mint produced billions of 1975 Lincoln cents, over $5.4 billion in Philadelphia and more than $4.5 billion in Denver. However, not all coins are created equal. Most were quickly handled, used, or damaged, leaving only a few survivors in near-perfect mint condition. Those that remain untouched, still bearing their original red copper brilliance, are like time capsules of American history. Collectors pay top dollar for such coins because they embody both historical importance and physical beauty. Some collectors also seek rarer varieties from 1975 that are incredibly valuable. These include double-die obverse coins, off-center strikes, and rare planchet errors where the coin was struck on the wrong metal blank. Each of these mistakes makes the coin unique, and uniqueness in the world of numismatics always commands attention and high prices. When a 1975 penny shows clear doubling in Lincoln's face, inscriptions, or date, it can easily multiply in value several times over. And when such an error coin is found in uncirculated condition, it becomes a dream find, something that can completely change a collector's life. The market for these coins continues to grow, as more people around the world are discovering the beauty and potential value hidden in everyday pocket change. The recent rise in gold, silver, and collectible coin prices has sparked a renewed interest in copper coins like the 1975 Lincoln cent. Investors see them as tangible, historical assets that tell the story of America's past, while collectors see them as artifacts that capture the artistry of U.S. minting at its best. The 1975 Liberty 1-cent coin also connects us to a fascinating era in American history. The mid-1970s were a time of economic challenge, innovation, and change. Inflation was rising, gas prices were high, and yet the penny still stood as a symbol of value and endurance. It reminded Americans of thrift, patience, and history, the same values that inspired Abraham Lincoln himself. Holding a 1975 penny is like holding a small piece of that history, a tiny link to the everyday lives of millions of Americans who used these coins during an unforgettable decade. For collectors, that emotional connection adds even more to its appeal. So, the next time you see a 1975 Liberty 1-cent coin, don't just glance over it. Take a closer look, check its condition, its mint mark, and its color. If it still shines with its original red luster, if it bears no scratches or wear, you could be looking at a small fortune waiting to be discovered. And if you ever find one with an unusual strike or doubling, you might just be holding one of the rarest and most valuable pennies ever made. The current coin market continues to reward patience and knowledge. As of now, high-grade 1975 Liberty 1-cent coins consistently attract collectors at auctions and online sales, with prices climbing year after year. Experts predict that as more of these coins disappear into private collections, their scarcity and value will only increase. It's an exciting time to be part of this world, where history and profit meet in the palm of your hand. That's why here at Rare US Coins, we always remind you, never underestimate the power of a penny. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. So keep your eyes open, check your change, and who knows, you might just discover your own 1975 Liberty 1-cent treasure worth $779,353. Thank you for joining us today on Rare US Coins. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1984 Liberty 1-cent coin, a small but mighty piece of American history that has captured the attention of collectors and treasure hunters alike. Though it was struck over 4 decades ago, this humble penny from Denver holds stories of craftsmanship, rarity, and unexpected fortune. Believe it or not, some examples of this 1984 Lincoln cent have fetched astonishing values in the collector's market, with rare specimens being valued at up to $779,355 depending on condition, mint errors, and overall appeal to serious numismatists. So sit back and get ready, because the 1984 Liberty 1-cent coin is one you'll definitely want to look out for. The 1984 penny, like its counterparts of the Lincoln Memorial Series, features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. Since its introduction in 1909, Lincoln's image has been a staple of American coinage, symbolizing honesty, leadership, and resilience. But what makes the 1984 coin particularly intriguing is not just its design, it's the story of its minting and the mysteries hidden in the fine details. Struck at the Denver Mint, the 1984 cent carries the distinctive mint mark just below the date, representing one of the most active mint facilities in the United States during the early 1980s. Millions were produced, yet not all are created equal. Some of these coins came off the press with striking errors, die varieties, and small imperfections that would later make them stand out to collectors searching for that one extraordinary find. One of the most talked about varieties from 1984 is the Lincoln cent featuring a double die on the obverse, where Lincoln's ear appears double due to a misalignment during the minting process. This subtle yet fascinating feature has turned ordinary pennies into prized collectibles. In pristine condition, especially if graded by trusted authorities like PCGS or NGC, these coins have commanded staggering prices at auctions. The eye appeal, rarity, and strong doubling effect determine how much a collector might pay. Imagine finding one of these rare double-ear 1984 pennies in your change jar, a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars today because of an error almost invisible to the naked eye. That's the beauty of coin collecting. It transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. When examining the market for the 1984 penny, several factors influence its worth. Coins that have never circulated, known as mint state or uncirculated coins, tend to command the highest premiums. A 1984 penny graded MS-68 or higher is a true gem and can attract bids beyond belief. Even lightly circulated examples with exceptional luster and minimal marks can be worth far more than their face value. As of the latest collector trends, demand for Lincoln Memorial cents continues to rise as more enthusiasts rediscover the significance of these transitional-era coins. With copper composition transitioning in the early 1980s from 95% copper to mostly zinc, the 1984 D represents one of the last chapters of an era where the penny truly felt like metal, not just money. Collectors are also fascinated by the historical backdrop of 1984. It was a time of change and progress in America. Ronald Reagan was in the White House, technology was on the rise, and the U.S. Mint was refining its production processes. Yet even with advancements, mint errors slipped through, creating hidden treasures that remain tucked away in drawers and old coffee cans. The Denver Mint, known for producing billions of coins each year, minted over 5 billion of these 1984 D Lincoln cents. With such massive output, the odds of discovering rare varieties like double dies, off-center strikes, or broad strikes make coin hunting both thrilling and rewarding. These rare anomalies tell a story of precision, chance, and discovery. Now let's talk about the sheer excitement surrounding the value of these coins in the current market. While a common 1984 D penny might be worth just a few cents in circulated condition, a high-grade uncirculated or error specimen could easily reach staggering heights. In auctions, examples have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and condition. A perfect, uncirculated, double die example certified by a top grading service could potentially touch the incredible value of $779,355, a dream figure that reflects the passion of collectors and investors who recognize the cultural and historical weight of these small coins. The world of coin collecting thrives on rarity and story, and the 1984 D penny has both in abundance. What makes the 1984 D penny especially captivating is its accessibility. Anyone, from seasoned collectors to casual change checkers, has the chance to find one. That's why shows like Rare U.S. Coins exist, to remind you that numismatic treasures are often hiding in plain sight. Each coin has its journey, from the mint to circulation, from pocket to pocket, carrying with it a trace of American history. Holding a 1984 D penny connects you to a time of economic strength, industrial innovation, and minting excellence. Whether you find one in your coin jar, your family collection, or at a flea market, take a closer look. You might be holding a fortune in your hands. As collectors continue to explore the vast world of Lincoln cents, the 1984 D remains one of the most intriguing and talked about pieces. It represents more than just 1 cent, it represents a story of luck, craftsmanship, and hidden value. Many collectors believe that as time passes and fewer pristine examples remain in existence, the value of well-preserved 1984 D coins, especially with visible doubling or other mint varieties, will continue to rise. The market for vintage U.S. coins has proven resilient, with passionate collectors and investors driving record prices year after year. So, the next time you find yourself sorting through your spare change, remember that the smallest coins can sometimes bring the biggest surprises. The 1984 D Liberty 1 cent coin is living proof that history, rarity, and beauty can converge in the most unexpected ways. Its blend of fascinating design, minting mystery, and potential high value makes it one of the standout coins from the 1980s Lincoln Memorial series. And who knows, you might just discover your own $779,355 penny one day. Thank you for joining us here at Rare U.S. Coins. Today, we are diving deep into the story of the Liberty 1 cent 1984 D coin, a small yet powerful piece of American history that has surprised collectors with its remarkable worth and increasing demand in the market. The 1984 D Lincoln cent, minted at the Denver Mint, carries the bold D mint mark just below the date, symbolizing its origin from one of the busiest coin-producing facilities in the United States. Although millions of these coins rolled off the presses, only a few possess the unique qualities that make them extraordinarily valuable today, with certain specimens reaching astounding values of up to $779,354 in pristine condition. The 1984 D penny belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which was first introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The obverse side of this coin features the iconic right-facing portrait of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has graced the 1-cent coin since 1909. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, showcases the Lincoln Memorial in stunning detail, with even the tiny seated statue of Lincoln visible between the columns when viewed under magnification. This design celebrated one of America's most beloved landmarks and stood as a symbol of unity and strength until it was replaced by the Union Shield design in 2010. But the 1984 cent holds a special place in this lineage because of its historical context, production quirks, and fascinating errors that make it a collector's dream. The 1984 penny was struck during a transitional period in American coinage when the U.S. Mint had recently shifted from using 95% copper planchets to the newer copper-plated zinc composition introduced in 1982. This change was made due to the rising cost of copper, and by 1984, the Mint was still fine-tuning the minting process with this new metal composition. As a result, several minor variations and striking anomalies occurred, creating a handful of rare and valuable error coins. Some of the most prized examples include the 1984 doubled ear Lincoln cent, where a strong doubling of Lincoln's earlobe is visible on the obverse. This error was not caused by simple machine doubling but by a true double die, which occurred when the die itself received two slightly misaligned impressions during its creation. Such a coin can fetch an enormous price at auction, sometimes reaching into the tens of thousands, depending on its condition, color, and certification by grading authorities like PCGS or NGC. Even ordinary-looking 1984 cents can carry significant value if they are preserved in high-grade mint state condition. Coins graded MS67 or higher are extremely rare because the zinc core tends to develop spots, blisters, and toning over time, which reduces their aesthetic appeal and grade. However, a perfectly struck, uncirculated coin with brilliant luster and no visible marks can command huge premiums. Collectors and investors around the world continue to pay top dollar for such gems, making the 1984 Liberty 1 cent one of the standout coins from the early 1980s. Auctions have recorded impressive results, with certain examples selling for thousands, and when you factor in exceptional mint errors or unusual characteristics, some pieces have reached sky-high values, approaching the $779,354 range in extraordinary cases involving pristine quality, historical significance, and strong collector demand. Beyond its monetary worth, the 1984 penny carries immense historical and sentimental value. It represents a time when America was balancing tradition and innovation, continuing to honor Lincoln's legacy while adapting to new economic realities. The Denver Mint played a vital role in producing billions of coins for circulation, ensuring that every American could carry a piece of history in their pocket. But among those billions, only a handful emerged with the perfection, errors, or preservation that make them treasures today. For coin enthusiasts, the thrill lies in the hunt, searching through old jars, rolls of pennies, or inherited collections in hopes of finding one of these rare examples. The feeling of discovering a rare 1984 penny with a double die or mint state brilliance is incomparable, as it connects the finder directly to American history and the legacy of one of its greatest leaders. In today's collector market, the Liberty 1 cent 1984 continues to shine as a smart investment. Coin values have risen significantly in recent years due to growing public interest, online auction platforms, and the limited number of surviving high-grade specimens. Collectors now recognize the importance of preserving these coins in protective holders and submitting them to professional grading services to ensure authenticity and value retention. The demand for rare 1980s Lincoln cents is stronger than ever, with even circulated coins fetching more than face value if they display sharp details or unusual features. The remarkable journey of this small copper-plated coin from pocket change to potential fortune reflects the enduring power of numismatics, a world where history, art, and finance intertwine beautifully. So next time you come across a 1984 Lincoln cent, take a closer look. Examine the date, mint mark, and Lincoln's earlobe for signs of doubling. Inspect the surfaces for shine, luster, and lack of wear. You might be holding a hidden gem worth a fortune. Remember, treasures like these often hide in plain sight, waiting for a keen eye to uncover them. Keep checking your change, your old coin jars, and those forgotten collections in drawers. you never know when you might find a piece that could change your financial story forever. Thank you for watching Rare US Coins. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most interesting and often overlooked treasures of US coinage, the 1989 D Liberty 1-cent coin. At first glance, this humble copper-plated zinc penny might look like just another ordinary coin jingling in your pocket, but beneath its small size lies a remarkable story of American craftsmanship, hidden rarity, and collector obsession that has made it one of the most talked-about modern Lincoln cents in recent years. The 1989 D Lincoln cent was minted in Denver, Colorado, and proudly bears the D mint mark below the date on the obverse side, right under the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. This portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner, has graced the penny since 1909, marking the centennial of Lincoln's birth. The reverse of the 1989 D features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that began appearing on cents in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and the 50th anniversary of his first appearance on the coin. But what makes this 1989 D penny stand out isn't just its design, it's the combination of its mintage, composition, errors, and the mystery surrounding certain rare varieties that have emerged from this production year. The Denver Mint struck over 5 billion 1989 D pennies, making it a common coin by circulation standards. However, what separates a common penny from a valuable one are the small imperfections and production quirks that can make a single coin worth a fortune. Some 1989 D cents are known for striking errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, and weak mint marks, errors that can transform a 1-cent coin into a collector's dream worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In pristine, uncirculated condition, with bright red luster and no visible wear, some 1989 D Lincoln cents have sold for jaw-dropping prices in auctions. According to top coin grading services and recent collector reports, a perfect mint state 1989 D Liberty 1-cent coin graded MS68 RD can reach values up to $779,356 in the high-end coin market, especially when verified as having a unique error or an exceptional strike. Imagine turning a small, everyday penny into something worth more than most cars or even homes. That's the magic of numismatics. To truly appreciate this coin, we must understand the era it was born in. The year 1989 marked the final stretch of the Cold War, a time when America was evolving rapidly both technologically and economically. The U.S. Mint was modernizing production, transitioning fully to zinc-based cents after the copper phase ended in 1982 due to rising metal costs. The 1989 D penny, therefore, represents one of the early mature years of the zinc cent era, 97.5% zinc with a thin 2.5% copper plating. This composition shift created its own legacy because zinc cents tend to corrode, blister, or suffer from planchet flaws more easily than their pure copper predecessors. That's why finding a 1989 D cent in flawless red condition is so rare. It's a battle against time and chemistry itself. Most of these coins have dulled or tarnished over the decades, so a sharp, perfectly struck example is a true survivor. Collectors are especially drawn to varieties that make their coin unique. There have been discoveries of 1989 D Lincoln cents with faint or missing mint marks, strong double die obverse where Liberty or the date appears doubled, and even transitional errors where older copper planchets were accidentally used. Such coins are rare, and when certified by major grading authorities like PCGS or NGC, they can bring astronomical prices. Stories have circulated in coin forums of lucky finders spotting these hidden treasures in old penny rolls, change jars, or inherited coin boxes. Every 1989 D penny you come across could be hiding a secret, and that's what keeps collectors hunting, that thrilling possibility of uncovering a rare variety that turns a cent into a goldmine. In today's coin market, the value of the 1989 D Liberty 1 cent continues to rise as demand for high-grade coins grows. With more people discovering the hobby through social media and YouTube channels like Rare US Coins, attention has turned toward the late 1980s and early 1990s pennies, coins that were once considered too modern to be collectible but are now gaining recognition for their scarcity in top grades. Professional coin graders emphasize that even minor details can make a world of difference. A perfectly centered strike, original mint luster, and a flawless surface without spots or scratches can multiply the value dramatically. If you have a 1989 D penny in near-perfect condition, especially one that appears unusually sharp or with striking errors, it's worth having it professionally graded. That certification can turn an interesting coin into a documented rarity worth thousands, or, in exceptional cases, that headline-making figure of $779, $356. The legacy of the 1989 D Liberty 1 cent isn't just about its price tag, it's about its symbolism. This coin is a piece of America's story, minted at a time of change and transition, carrying the face of one of the nation's most respected presidents and echoing the values of perseverance and honesty that Lincoln stood for. Every scratch and shine on this small copper-colored coin is a reflection of its journey through American pockets, store counters, and cash registers, a journey that might span decades before ending up in the hands of a collector who recognizes its hidden worth. The 1989 D penny reminds us that history doesn't always come in gold or silver. Sometimes, it's hiding right in plain sight, in the smallest coin we use every day. So, if you ever come across a 1989 D Liberty 1 cent, don't dismiss it as just another penny. Take a closer look at the date, the mint mark, the shine, and the details. You might just be holding a little piece of fortune in your fingers. That's the beauty of coin collecting. You never know when an everyday object could turn into something extraordinary. And that's why here at Rare US Coins,